plunged in at the deep end. Whereas you took the gradual step, you worked with NGOs, you understood the sector, you trained actually professionally in the sector, and then you entered that sector. What would you recommend to somebody who's considering a career in social entrepreneurship? Dive in at the deep end like Umesh did, explore it step by step, and are there pros and cons? There were differences in the approaches that you took. So somebody who sitting on the fence, what would you advise them?
See, ideally, no textbook or nothing can really prepare you once you take the plunge. So in my case, it just happened to be the fact that I was already in the social sector, and for me to get into something like this happened quite easily because I was always geared towards it. Whereas for people who are just about to take the plunge, I would say that if they, I'm really sorry, you can definitely make mistakes and you can definitely learn through your mistakes, but if you're geared and that always gives you a kind of an edge, and you don't really give up that fast once you know what you're getting into. So
as they say, fortune favors the prepared mind, and if you spend time in the sector, you know what you're letting yourself in for. You have maybe a network of contacts and things like that. Umesh, would you have done it differently looking back, or would you still plunge in at the deep end? Because you were actually turning your lack of knowledge into an advantage. So what would you advise people here?
So, there's no denying that when I was starting and I had prior experience, more contacts, more understanding of business in general, things would have been much faster and easier for us. At the same time, I'm conscious that we had the energy to keep failing and keep trying over and over again. I think it's a fine balance. There's no recipe that I would recommend anyone that it's either this way or that way. I think one has to choose the right time in their life, in their career. You just have to be conscious that sometimes it's going to take longer than you anticipate to start succeeding. You should have staying power both financially as well as mentally and physically. So I think whenever you think the time is right, it's the right time basically.
Okay, great. And balancing profit and purpose. This is something that decisions that you probably have to make on a day-to-day basis. And I know you've been doing this now for 5 years, Umesh, whereas Anu's just starting along that journey. How do you manage that fine tightrope? How do you balance that? I know you have paying customers or purely commercial enterprises, and then you have these customers who are doing these deeply impactful projects using your technology. Do you have any advice based on 5 years of walking that fine tightrope?
So I think it's a mindset and philosophy that we do our business with. It need not be sort of something that everyone has to follow, or I would say has to be a generic trend. As I said, we look at our business in saying we are entrepreneurs, and that's the core. There is a prefix of a certain sector that we decided to work in because we just said there's opportunity and nothing else. So as an entrepreneur, our purpose of running the business is to run a profitable business which is sustainable, grows fast, and so on. So I think those are the fundamentals with which we do business. You're right, we work with customers who run very impactful projects of their own. But what we've done is by design, in the way we've modeled our business, it's on the cloud. There's no capex, it's pay as you go. We've reduced the entry barrier, but that's it. Beyond that, we don't do free POCs, which even larger companies would do in a very different sector. It's a policy. We just don't do free POCs. We make customers pay, and we believe that they should pay because we believe we are adding value. The day we stop adding value, we'll stop getting paid, right? So it's our job to keep innovating and ensure that our service levels are the highest. There's no compromise because of the sector that we've chosen. There has to be no apologies because of it. And while we do that, we are confident that somebody will find value and keep paying us. That's just the philosophy of our business.
Chandra, have you faced some of these sorts of challenges where there's a temptation to raise the price? You have people who can pay a lot for the product that you're creating, but you have a different price point because you originally intended it for a different customer. How do you balance profit and purpose? I Have you faced such challenges?
So actually, as I told you, we had the price prefixed before, and like this should be the target amount, and the plastic traces, the body is made up of plastics, the prices go, it's a yo-yo. Getting clay is a yo-yo, sand again. So all our products, that mix is going to be a difficult thing as far as the manufacturer is concerned. But what I did, I made a very simple product. What is my bottom line? What price can I manufacture the product irrespective of the sale? Then I have a margin for the NGO or a self-help group who is going to take my product and sell. So because NGOs need to make money, you cannot be a charity guy just without making money. You can't sustain for long. So I have made my model very clear. Sevalaya, Gramalaya in Trichy, and there are some more few people in Rotary clubs. They take in bulk and give it to schools, colleges like that. So this is the model we have developed. Of course, the villages. Suppose a guy comes to me and takes it, and 10 days he'll give me a call. So I will just parcel some 10-15 pieces to me. What will be the discount? So I give him a 100 rupees discount, and the MRP is boldly fixed on the body. So 700 rupees, so 100 rupees is surely is going to make. So he gets encouraged to do this. This is the model. In fact, after he came in business world.
Now, let me ask you a specific question. Just say a corporate customer came to you and said that, I want you to put up 100 toilets at my field sites. And that corporate customer can pay you twice as much as maybe your NGO or village customers pay you. Would you price it at that point, make that additional profit and use that elsewhere?
No, we don't get awed by such big names and all those things.
I'm just making a hypothetical situation.
No, see, big money is okay, but we will get caught very easily. Because suppose his pricing is too down and this double or treble, what will happen? Somebody who knows the costing will cut you. Simply next time when you sell the toilet, you cannot sell it again. So we need to be rationally correct, some decent margin to sustain, and then be reasonably good, let the corporate logo and other things be. But there is some standard valuation. You can't just be greedy as a social entrepreneur. You make money, I should say, like you don't go in losses. So say like winter, we lie low. We lay off all our workers, everything, see them, they are paid on day-to-day basis and keep them low, and when again in summer, we call everybody and pay them double, no issues. So this way we balance the act, but not to be greedy, and as you said, corporate company comes and then.
Right. How about you, Anu? What has your challenges been so far in the 6 months or so of your operation?
See, the main challenge that I face is in terms of pricing, especially is because people know that the services are by people with disabilities, they immediately think low cost attached to it. As in, any decent service if you're expecting, you need to be prepared to pay for that decent service. The minute you say the services by people with disabilities, people kind of assume, I'm not saying low cost or anything, immediately, they assume that we do not pay our...
cheaper than
exactly.
what they would otherwise have.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy and proud to say that we pay as per industry norms to each and every that we have employed with us. So it doesn't mean that definitely cost effective will be the key here, but that doesn't mean that you get any cheap just because services by people with disabilities. So that is something that I face.
Okay, we have about 15 minutes left. So